So welcome everyone. It's a great pleasure to have our first all members meeting. We're really excited to tell you about the various things that we've been up to over the last little while. So here's the agenda for the day. We'll hear a president's report, treasurer's, secretary's reports. Then we'll tell you about some of the projects. We're going to try to do that relatively quickly because we want to devote most of the time to a Q&A. We want to hear from you and the kinds of projects you think we should be pursuing. If you have any suggestions for us, directions, and so on. So let's begin with the president's report. Let me introduce Joel Haas from UC Davis.
Well, hello, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the first AMR meeting. I hope there'll be many more. Thank you to Alex for organizing this event. The AMR is only 3 years old today, but as you will see, we have come a long way. You'll hear about some of the many interesting plans that we have for the near future. Our mission is shown on this slide: to support mathematical research and scholarship, and we stay focused on that mission. Please encourage your colleagues to join us. If you have any ideas and have any wish to participate more actively in the organization, please contact any of the board members. We would love to hear from you. So now I'll turn it back over to Alex, and we're going to hear about some of the exciting things that are happening at the AMR.
Thanks, Joel. So next we'll have a treasurer's report. Rob Greist of UPenn is the treasurer. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here. So our assets last year, at the end of last year, 22, were about 18,000. At the end of this past year, the end of 23, we're about $500,000. So that's thanks to a lot of donations. Apparently, people think that what we're doing is worthwhile, and some investment income. The expenses in 22 were about $3,000. In 23, we really splurged, went for 10K, and we have a significant increase in the budget this year that, as you'll hear, will be devoted to things like journals. We have a new prize that should be announced very soon, and some other prizes in the works, videos, and maybe some projects that we discuss with you all. So that's the basic financial picture. We're doing very well, and thank you all for your support and your donations. So next we'll go to the secretary's report, and for that let me introduce Abby Thompson, UC Davis.
Hi, I just want to report that our membership seems to be coming along nicely. We started with about 286 members. Most of those were founding members in 2021, and we've just been steadily increasing. So we're now at this point up to 768 members. If I'd like to encourage you, if you have colleagues that you think would be interested, please encourage them to join. It's free, and it seems it's a valuable resource, we think, for mathematicians. The other thing I'd like to mention is that we are sending out periodic newsletters. The most recent one was in February 2024. If you didn't see it, please check your spam mail and see if it's lurking in your junk mail, because I can't control where it gets delivered to. But it outlined many of the projects that we're going to be talking about today. So that's it for the secretary's report.
Thanks, Abby. So then we'll start talking about the project. So the first project we want to report is journals. So I saw this going around online that now if you want to publish a single open access article in Nature, it costs you over $12,000. So one of the things that we would like to try to contribute to mathematics worldwide is to make some progress on the open access movement. Of course, this is not something new. It's something that a lot of people are engaged in, but we really wanted to find out how it is that we still have to pay, even though we have the archive, we still have to pay, that our libraries have to pay for some journals and so on. So we spent the bulk of 2022 interviewing over 100 mathematicians about what people thought would be a cost-effective but high-quality way to run a journal with very high standards. And based on these findings, we started our first journal. So that's the Journal of the Association for Mathematical Research, JAMR. And so you can see the editorial board here. Some of the editors are here. Thank you for joining us. So it's a Diamond Open Access journal. We publish research articles in all branches of mathematics, and the level that we're going for is at the level of the best specialized journals. And there's the website, jamathr.org. Everything is freely available. Of course, that's what Diamond Open Access means. And we have so far published 2 issues. So you can see the papers from the first issue and the second issue, which was just published last month. We have a lot of papers that I'm really excited about making their way through the pipeline. So that's our first journal. For our second journal, I'd like to ask the managing editor, Sasha Kolpakov, to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Sasha Kolpakov, managing editor of the Journal of Experimental Mathematics. So this journal is also a Diamond Open Access journal that publishes in all branches of mathematics that feature experimental results or numerical experiments that may imply certain conjectures that are important, or any kind of computer-assisted proofs. So basically, everything that's computationally geared and experimentally geared with important implications. So the interests of this journal, or the areas that it publishes in, are limited by the editorial board interests, and some editors are here, and the more editors we have, the better it is. I believe it will be profitable for us. It's very welcome if you advertise this journal among your colleagues and tell them if they have a good result that came up after certain numerical experimentation, or it is a computational result, that the computational part of the proof is essential. This result is going to be really welcome in our journal. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Sasha. And the website is jxmath.org for those that want to explore there.
Yes, so we are waiting on our first issue by the end of this year, or sooner.
Thank you. Okay, for the next journal that we have in line, I'd like to invite George Andrews to say a few words.
Thanks. Welcome, everyone. We are not quite as far along as the JXM is, but this is sort of a brand new idea. You can more or less get a full picture of things by the bullet points on the screen. I just want to elaborate a little bit on what's being said there. This new journals, for the first year, we're looking for about 20 famous problems, each to be part of a survey centered on the problem with history, various attempts at a solution, possible counterexamples, etc., and should be an essay of 10 or more pages. The number 20 very roughly corresponds to the section in which the ICM divides mathematics. Subsequently, we hope to more submissions, perhaps shorter and not necessarily as famous as the first year, but always we wish to be aimed at graduate students, so where a grad student in the field could understand most of the essay, and any grad student could glean something from it. So the archetype for this, of course, is Hilbert's famous list from 1900. Hilbert's problems elevated math in certain areas of research. It articulated a vision for the future, and it motivated important mathematics. It was a boon to young mathematicians, especially when they made progress on a Hilbert problem. And the JOMP will likewise attempt to motivate and guide the next generation of mathematicians. So we are gathering an editorial board and hoping to encourage people interested to contact us. So the three who started it are Rob Kirby, Eric Friedlander, and me. Thanks.
Thanks, George. That's great. So we'd like to continue with a discussion of our book project. So we have published so far 4 books. 3 are research monographs, and 1 is a monograph for the profession. These are all freely available on the website. Anyone can download it and explore on their own. And we encourage any of you that want to contribute monographs or books of research mathematics, or some kind of monograph for the profession, please get in touch with us. Another project that we've been pursuing is lecture series. So we have a variety of lecture series running, including the AMR RMA Recent Mathematical Advances Distinguished Lecture Series, as well as the Vinberg Distinguished Lecture Series. These are all recorded and posted freely to YouTube. You can find links to them from the AMR website. Then we have some mathematical reviews. So I'd like to ask Sergei Tabashnikov to say a few words about these, please.
Yes, hello and welcome. This is one of the projects which we started, and the idea is to have something similar, but somewhat different from what Quanta Magazine does. So there are two differences, and there's something in common. In common is that we choose an interesting subject. It could be classic, or it could be new result, not necessarily published yet. But the difference is that it's not written by journalists, so it doesn't have things like Professor X from University Y says it's a great result. We don't do that. And also the audience is slightly different. Quanta, I think, targets generally educated audience, but not necessarily professionals. And so we, in our reviews, we don't need to explain what complex number is, for example. There are several samples on our website. Mostly it's a proof of concept. And what we need our members and other people is to contribute. We do understand that everyone is busy and this is purely service. However, most of you have something interesting you would love to share, maybe when you give a colloquium talk. So why not write a short review, preferably well illustrated, sometimes linked to a video on our YouTube channel. We have a small editorial board, and most of what I'm saying is it's a call for reviews, for contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and then just as we mentioned videos, so we have a number of videos on our YouTube channel. These have been seen now over 10,000 times, and that's one direction that we are pursuing more. We're going to be investing more resources this coming year. So that's the videos, and that's basically what we wanted to report to you all. And let me open it up to a Q&A. So if you just want to use the raise hand feature in Zoom, we can try to call people in the order that the questions are coming in. I see that there are a few questions in the chat already. Comparable to Oberwolfach snapshots, referring to the reviews. So yes. So Siroja, do you want to say something about that? Whether you see the reports as comparable to Oberwolfach reports?
In the sense, yes. I mean, the best description of what we have in mind is the samples. Please take a look at what is there. It shouldn't be long. It should be well written and pleasure to read. It shouldn't be too technical, but it should deliver a message to a professional, not necessarily a specialist in this particular field. So yes, somewhat similar to Oberwolfach snapshots.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the AMR can help with, you said nice illustrations, but not everyone has the technical chops to do that. And I believe the AMR, if there's a nice text written, but not, if someone wants help with the illustrations, we can do that.
That's right. And also, on the other hand, there are some people who are very good with illustrations, animations, and such. And we can provide platform for that as well.
Great. Before I get to Amy, there's another question in the chat. Will the hard copies of the books be made available? I believe, Joel, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there's a possibility to link a book that we published to the Amazon, which will print one on demand. There was some discussion of that. I don't know if that experiment ever came to fruition.
Right. Right. Well, the books are available to download only in electronic forms on the website, but they are done in the standard book format. So it is possible to send them to print on demand. There are various people who will print books, but because we have no budget for printing and so on. And no, when we charge nothing, we can't actually provide printed copies, but it is possible in theory to print out a book.
Yeah, so you can download the PDF and print it yourself, or I'm sure there are ways of getting it bound and printed nicely. So Amy, you'd like to ask a question?
Yeah. So I'm wondering what the I don't know how to phrase this. Like, what is the copyright or whatever on these books? Like, are they just Creative Commons? Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So Joel, maybe you'll correct me about the books. I can speak to the journals. The copyright for the journals remains with the author. So we only ask for permission to publish their papers in perpetuity, and then the authors are welcome to do with it whatever they like further. Is that the case for books as well?
Yes, that's correct. Our default is a Creative Commons agreement that gives us the right to distribute the book, but copyright is retained by the author. And we're flexible if authors want some modification of that. For example, there's several types of Creative Commons agreements. We're amenable to anything as long as we have the right to distribute it, obviously.
Okay. I partly ask or I mostly ask because a friend of mine had a book on his website that's Creative Commons. It was a number theory book. And then someone started had it published on Amazon. And that's like a thing that you can just do. Like if someone has a text out there and it has like no restrictions on it, and it's Creative Commons, someone else can snatch it and just publish it for their own profit on Amazon. So I just, yeah, like the red flag
Yeah,
was.
that's correct. You're absolutely correct. Creative Commons allows any use for any reason, but there's a variation called Creative Commons non-commercial, where if you use it for a commercial project where you charge for a book, then you have to get permission from the copyright holder, which is the author.
Okay, so the author, okay, so the author, do they generally do non-commercial, or it's really up to the author entirely?
We generally do non-commercial, unless that's our default.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, but it's whatever the author, if the author wants. Some authors want to just give it all away, and if you want to take my book and scratch off my name and put yours there, I'm not going to stop you. There are authors that feel that way, and we just want to meet everyone where they are.
I just didn't want someone to find the books and be like, oh, gold mine, and then publish them all and have something. Okay.
If there are authors who asked us to do to not do a non-commercial, then they can.
Right.
It is a gold mine.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for answering for me.
Thank you. Thomas?
Yeah, I just had a quick question for George as far
Yes.
as what constitutes open, right? When he talks about open problems, I mean, something like the continuum hypothesis is, you'd think between Cohen and Gödel, they've got more or less of relatively full solution. But so could you just give me an idea about when a problem's still considered open?
So I would say we're open-minded on this. I don't think we have any strict definition. Obviously, in it where there is some sort of debate about it, obviously this is something where the author ought to consult the editorial board first, and we'll talk it over. But at the beginning, we are open-minded rather than having a strict definition.
Okay, so large cardinal axiom arguments would be a kind of thing that, since those arguments are still going on, something you might be interested in.
Quite conceivably.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Sure.
I don't see other hands raised. We don't have to take more of your time than we already have. I will just like to say, as you think about maybe asking any further questions, I will just like to say, as you saw from the financial situation, that's not our rate limiting step right now. It's human capital. So all of these things take human beings actually doing something and executing. And that's really the hard part. So the more people that we can get on board, the more people who think that what we're doing is valuable, and would like to contribute, that's what we need more than anything else right now. So if there are ideas you have for a project you think we should be considering, please contact us. Obviously, if you have papers, or if your colleagues have papers that they want to submit to any of these journals, if you'd like to contribute a book or a review and so on, if you have expertise with making videos, we need all hands on deck. Basically, the more people involved, the better. And these things only get created when individuals are doing it. Well, I don't see other questions, so I think we can call it there. We want to just thank you all for joining us, and thanks for supporting the organization. And we hope to be bringing many more of these things to your inboxes and your mathematics soon. Thank you so much.